What is good? What is poppin', everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Hello, Xan.
Hello, Jakey boy. Yeah, how are you doing today?
I feel like every time you ask me that, I say tired. So today, I am vibrant. I am alive. How are you doing, man?
Yo, I'm tired of the lies is what I'm tired of.
Are you talking about
yeah.
in gaming and esports?
Well, both, and obviously you're not.
Oh,
yeah,
me
you're,
lying.
you're never
well,
happy.
Thanks for the call out 2 seconds in. What is up, everybody? Hope
Uh-huh.
you're all doing well. Welcome back to the Esports Rewind podcast number 26. We are still going same week, or I guess every week, same time, I should be saying. And yeah, today we're going to talk about, as per usual, the latest, craziest gaming stories for all of you guys. They will always be timestamped down below as well. Xan, should we kick this sucker off?
Yeah, right before we do, though, just so people aren't like, I know it was a really nice transition. Everybody's very proud of your segue
just
skills.
Keep on, whatever.
Anyway, just because we have a new plaque on the desk, don't want people to be thrown off by that.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
Explain it really quick.
Yeah, real briefly. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, we have an audio version of the podcast available every single week, one day before it goes live on YouTube on Prediction. So if you type in Prediction, Preediction, in your favorite podcast app of choice, you can find us and say, hey, download the Esports Rewind.
So if you want to listen to us before this goes live on YouTube, on the road, on the whatever devices you do choose, that is why that's there. And so, yeah, now can we kick it off?
Yeah, now we can.
All right, let's get into it. All right, Xana, for the first story, I think I want to keep a lot of my stories brief. I know we always say that, and I never do it, but this one is certainly controversial around League of Legends Worlds, and I'm not really sure if controversial is probably the best term, and I think it's really ironic that I put on this wrist brace this week.
So now I know what you're talking about. yeah.
Yes, okay, I hope you do. So it's all around the SKT lineup, obviously Faker being a part of that lineup. If you guys did miss it, I think it was by the time you guys watched this, actually not this past weekend, the weekend before that. We do pre-record the podcast, so apologies for that. It was the semifinals of League of Legends Worlds, obviously the most renowned, most watched concurrent viewership-wise esports event ever.
Yeah,
they do a great job every year. So much fun to watch. It was G2 versus SKT. Both, I would say, notorious lineups now, especially SKT when it comes to Korean success and their players, especially that being Faker. Now we get to the point of this actual story where the entire Reddit forum, the entire world of League of Legends apparently blew up because there was a clip that surfaced after a failed 1v1 by Faker himself against G2. Afterwards, they showed his player webcam, they have above the desk.
Of course.
And so he's making his callouts, doing whatever, and you see a visible, it's like a nervous handshake. The way I describe it is, I remember back in high school, I was giving a Spanish presentation, and I can't even speak English, and it was my first ever presentation, ever in front of a class.
In your entire life?
Yes.
Okay.
And I get up there, and I notice my
I'm shocked to remember that.
I know, it was traumatizing. And so I get up there, and involuntary, my hand won't stop shaking because I'm nervous, but I never felt like a nervousness like that.
Right.
And so that's what that handshake kind of was. And we saw the entire, a lot of people, maybe not the entire world, a bit of exaggeration. We saw a ton of people freak out. And I think, I'm curious what you think, why they would, because my personal, when I first saw that, people freaking out about it, you think that maybe the Korean region, the Asian region is known for how much pressure they put on their players. And so people seeing his handshake in a moment of distress are like, oh my God, does he feel like he has to win every engagement? Does he feel like he has to do it the entire, has to win worlds to not be nervous? Or what do you, why do you think
this whole situation just confuses me? Because I think about this, and I think, is this the downside of esports people not paying attention to how sports function at a base level? And just not knowing how, even in competition in general, in order to get to the high level that Faker is at, you have to be a competitive person.
Yeah.
You have to, take every encounter very seriously. You have to, it's a lot of intrinsic motivation, of course. So it'd be totally understandable and reasonable for him to be, mad about having a bad engagement.
Either irritated, angry, maybe nervous. Now, I think also what escalated it as well, we had that interview we covered here on the channel by Travis Gafford. It shows the press conference, and afterwards, one of the interviewers calls him out on it. And so with him being, I guess you could say, caught on webcam, obviously having his hand visibly shaken no matter what caused it, I ask you one last question, comparing it to traditional sports. And I had a video about this where, if you saw LeBron James miss a game-winning three-pointer, and in the replay, he's obviously very irritated, and his hands are shaking, or something went wrong, and he missed the three because of that, or vice versa, after he missed it, that's what his response was?
Of course, yeah.
Do you think, given that comparison, that in an interview setting or a press conference setting after the match, it's appropriate or okay to ask about that kind of thing?
I would say so, and I would say it's as a journalist, if you are a journalist, I would say if you notice that and you're paying attention, you're at that event, you're gonna know that's gonna be something people are gonna latch onto, of course, right? So you have to ask the question almost. It's up to Faker whether or not he wants to answer the question.
Yeah.
And I feel like if the reporter had like pushed him on it, because I know Faker kind of gave like a pretty dismissive answer.
Pretty subtle, yeah.
Yeah, if the reporter had like pushed and been like, no, but like really though, what does this mean? Then that would have been inappropriate. But
I think that's a really good answer. Really good way to put it. Yeah. Obviously, when you have the kind of the Korean stigma of how much pressure they put their players on, Faker being one of the most prominent figures in League of Legends history, it's going to draw a lot of debate around that. So yeah, our first topic today was actually about a handshaking. Might be the last time it ever happens, but yeah, crazy stuff in Korea as always.
Next story. Let's go.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, it's one we touched on very lightly last week as part of another story, actually. It's about esports overtaking traditional sports in viewership by 2021.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I am so glad.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I remembered.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
If you guys missed last episode, we talked about this very briefly. Then Xan went to a different topic. So now we're rehashing it.
Yeah.
Xan, now, do you think that esports will overtake traditional sports viewership by 2021, or you're discussing an article about it?
I'm discussing a research paper.
Okay.
But I also do think that they're right.
Bold statements by Xan.
I think they're not wrong.
Continue.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah.
Let's hit
Okay.
it.
So this is from a technology consulting firm known as Activate in like they're kind of working with Syracuse University on this
Smart
as far
university.
as I can tell. Yeah, very analytic based. Anyway, so current estimates of this is obviously based mainly in the United States since it's hard to get numbers from other places, right? But there's around 250 million people watching esports right now
In the United States?
in the United States.
Wow, that's actually
It's big numbers,
a large portion.
Yeah, and so their data suggests that by 2020, 70 million people will be watching a single esports final.
That is really...
That is more than U.S. pro basketball, soccer, and hockey finals.
Well, yeah, it is, because that's dude, what's the population? We're going to get trashed for this. Isn't it just over 300 million, or approaching 400 million people in the U.S.? Around some...
Not even what?
Am I dumb?
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No, I don't know. No.
Oh, you don't know, and you're calling
I'm
me
pretty
out?
sure. I'm pretty sure it's
sure
not even
we're
vaguely
approaching
like that.
400 million people in the U.S.
We can look that
And
up.
you think 70
I
million?
do not think we're approaching 400 million. I think we're beyond that. I think we're beyond that.
But either way,
you can look it up while I explain more what's going on.
70 million people will watch an esports. Did it specify what esports final?
Single esports
because
final.
it would have to be League of
It'll
Legends.
probably be League. It'll probably be something along those lines. But I think those numbers, it makes a lot of sense when you break it down. So, yeah, and the general prediction.
330 million people, just saying. I think that's approaching 400.
No,
I think it even attunes to my point more that there's less than that.
Well,
Sorry.
I think in that case, hey, it's even more impressive. We're going to have that many
330
people.
million people in the U.S. You think 70 million will watch a esports final by 2020?
I do.
Are you insane?
There's so many reasons why it makes.
Sorry, I keep on interrupting you. You hit me with those reasons.
Yeah, I will down the line, but we got to get to the. We got to get through the meat. We got to get through the data first.
Let's eat the meat.
Yeah. So anyway, then the prediction goes into play, taking into account that U.S. esports will have more viewers than every single pro sports league aside from the NFL by 2021. It's aside from the NFL.
And
NFL is predicted to have.
Is football, soccer included in that? Because this is like the most
Yeah.
ridiculous research study.
NFL is predicted to have around 140 million viewers by 2021. Esports is predicted to have 84
this is only
million.
U.S. viewership.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah,
football
what
would
I'm
not
saying.
be in there. As in soccer.
Once again, as I said at the top, it is focused on the U.S.
I'm clarifying for people like me.
Yeah, because it's really hard to get numbers out of other countries, basically any other country.
This is very specified.
Yeah. And anyway, the main reason that the guy's name is Inkyo Lee, I know I mispronounced that. I'm sorry about that. He's a professor of marketing and associate dean for Syracuse's global initiatives. Anyway, he says, unlike football or cricket, esports is not rooted in any region or culture, so it has a more global appeal. In today's world, being able to reach billions of eyeballs is very important to building a product's commercial value. And you got to think, to a certain extent, esports are a lot more welcome and open, than standard sports, I would say, right? Because anybody can sit down and play a game. It's very easy, right? But for football, if nothing else, that's a lot of setup on your end just to get a game of football going.
I mean,
all those people.
I understand that, but there's got to be more reasons than just that. They're just saying esports are a global thing, so obviously they're going to be easily digestible. You can say those things,
no,
but
it's saying that, like, because it's not rooted in any specific region, culture, not in any specific lifestyle habits, aside from playing video games.
I mean, that's true to an extent, but there are certain games out there that are pretty region based.
Well, certain games, yes, but not like any of the larger esports, really.
Is there more backing to this?
No, I mean, it's all database. It's
this
all
dude,
just
you know
based
what?
off of projections.
I'll take a harsh stance. This dude's a straight idiot. I think viewership will grow.
I think viewership is going to grow and dwarf everything else.
Yeah, maybe
easily.
I agree with that. But by you realize it's 2019, and you're saying by 2020 this is going to be 70 million people watching.
Yeah, I could see that.
I don't understand
you
sometimes. Sometimes you say the smartest things, and other times you just take people's word for it.
If you look at viewership trends, right, esports grows exponentially. Every single quarter, esports like shoots up, right? Because it's super easy to onboard new people. As a whole,
that growth to the. Let me give you some details that I just barely know off the top of my head. Have not on my end given it too much thought. When it comes to League of Legends, I think we can both agree it's the most worldwide watched game.
Yeah.
The semifinal, G2 versus SKT, I believe was the most watched esports match ever at 8 million concurrent viewers. And you think again, by next year, that's going to go to 70 million?
Nobody is saying concurrent. They're saying viewers of the final. And nobody measures concurrent when they're talking about NFL.
I guess I'm curious what the 8 million concurrent transferred to then.
Yeah, because if you think in terms
to be fair, you said 70 million, you blanketed it. I didn't know what that means.
Yeah, I said 70 million people will watch the final. I didn't mean at one time we're gonna have 70 million people sat in front of Twitch watching it. And it's the same for football. When they say, hey, football is gonna have 140 million, they're not saying there's gonna be 140 million people sitting on their couch watching football at the same time.
I'm quickly backtracking. But I wish that this research study would have said, generally what concurrent viewers over an event actually leads to when it's total viewership.
I don't think concurrent really has a direct translation to overall viewership.
There's got to be some connection though. Like 8 million concurrent over the course of an event is around 50 million total, or like 4 million around the course of an event is around 20 million total.
I don't know if there's a way to predict that honestly, because like part of those numbers, like the numbers. After the fact, some of that's going to overlap because there's going to be people who go back and watch again. You never know, was this particularly like a really interesting match that people are going to say, go back and watch the finals from 2018. That was insane,
Yeah. Okay, so, man, this is that's so tough. Because I wish I had the data on that now as well because I think I was incorrect. I actually doubled the number. It was 4 million concurrent viewers, which is still insane because over the course of that 4 matches, that could
very
be
long matches.
That very well could be, who knows, that could be 40, 50 million views right there. And then obviously by next year, that obviously could increase as well. So I'm going to retract my statements. I like your study that you're bringing to the table. I think we can end on this. Esports viewership is growing
exponentially every year.
Some think at a more rapid pace than others, and I'm on the less rapid side. Do I think it'll overtake all traditional sports besides the NFL by next year or 2021? Possible. Not guaranteed.
I think it's very likely.
Still a very interesting point that made me sound, yet again, very stupid. Thank you, Xan. All right, Xan, for a quick one for all of us on the Mixer waging war. Speaking of numbers, man, we like numbers on this podcast, it seems.
One of us does.
I'm just still, sometimes I think I got the edge on you and you just swing back and it turns out. Anyway, this one's all about Mixer versus Twitch versus YouTube. Earlier this week, or I guess I should say last week, we revealed some numbers which just show how far away Mixer really is.
It really is unfortunate. I keep wondering, when are they going to give up?
I mean,
at what point do you just throw in the towel and be like, we spent enough money, it's not working out, we're done?
Let's keep this brief. I'm going to ask you the ultimate question of what Mixer can do in the next 2 years to actually close the gap and stand a chance. Before that, quick numbers, top of my head. These numbers I think are actually closer to being correct than the last segment. So in the last quarterly reports, this is actually including Ninja's. Ninja's moved to Mixer. That is it, not Shroud yet, but numbers are still pretty darn close. Over the past quarter, Mixer had around 90 million hours watched. That's what matters, people watching your streams. YouTube Gaming, just around 675 million. Twitch, 2.5 billion hours watched. Obviously, that does actually translate to, I think it's actually Mixer has 1/20th of YouTube's viewership and just over 1% of Twitch's viewership. A lot of people out there in the comments during my video so far have stated, obviously, Twitch and YouTube have been around for over a decade. Mixer's been around for, I think, a few years, and obviously just hitting it very hard over the past 3 months. The question still does stand, though, because they are so far behind and Twitch is so established, no matter how bad Twitch does in all these bans and bad news. Xan, I give you a year to 2 years. What do you do as Mixer, and how much, obviously, how much money is a giant question as well it's going to take? Where do you start?
How much money is rough? I mean, I would say the only way Mixer has any shot whatsoever is heavy cross promotion with Xbox, because that's their one edge that they have over Twitch and YouTube. That's the only thing they've got right now.
I always like your opening points. I think when I would ask that question to most people, they just go, sign the biggest people. So,
well, obviously, yeah, it's not working out. I mean, they tried that with Ninja, Shroud, Gathalion.
And they will try it again.
Yeah,
obviously,
probably.
That's a factor.
Yeah, right. Obviously, it plays into it a little bit.
But why their cross-promotion with Xbox in particular?
Because I think Xbox, obviously, it's not doing as well as it was last gaming generation. Sony's kind of beat it out a little bit. But Xbox is still huge as a brand. And they just rolled out their new Game Pass subscription, which has theoretically been doing really, really well. And if, say, they leverage the Game Pass subscription kind of like they leveraged, Twitch leverages Amazon Prime.
Yep.
And say, like with Mixer, say, hey, you get a Mixer subscription or whatever, and we'll throw in Game Pass too. A lot of people would do one just to have the other. Or say you get Game Pass and you get like one free Mixer sub per month.
Yep.
Or anything like that.
And even then with that, I think that is like the approach. I think like you nailed it. Like they have to have something that combats the Amazon Prime subs, but also keeps signing big streamers out there. Maybe XQC, Doc's probably not going to go, but the Lyrics, the Summits, the Pokemains, a variety of streamers. And with that, they need to combat those Prime subs. There still is, even after all that, the issue of how much money can they put into it. And even when
that is the question.
And even if you give them some sort of sub, Amazon Prime they're not going to drop theirs.
Right, of course not. Yeah.
So it becomes a pick and choose, and people will probably, dibble and dabble in both websites. But I like your approach. It's just a giant mystery is, can they ever close this gap, as Twitch is also on top of everything. Twitch keeps signing people.
I think they're done. I honestly, after this week, I think Mixer is done, because YouTube is now taking it seriously.
I love your brass statements. Maybe not after this week.
No,
because YouTube's also taking it. Be a friend.
No, YouTube. Because YouTube, the only way Mixer had a shot was when it was only Twitch versus Mixer, essentially. And then, Huya was going to come along in around a year or so.
Or
Yeah, it would have maybe been a problem. But now YouTube Gaming is here and about to really
it's like they were always there though.
Yeah,
but
they weren't.
Now they're like, hey, by the way, we're still here.
No, yeah, they weren't they were there, but they weren't doing anything.
And they didn't need to, but now even that they are, I think what we've come to the conclusion here, if I fairly state it, as of right, there are a lot of Mixer fanboys that will probably watch this, and I don't mean that rudely. I really do like the platform.
No, yeah, so do I.
Very high quality.
Out of all of them, I think I like Mixer the most.
We're just being realistic.
Yeah.
I think by the end of the day, what I'm trying to lean towards eventually is, I think the real battle is not Twitch versus Mixer, it's Twitch versus YouTube.
Yeah. At this point, that's how it is.
And we'll keep you guys all posted. But as of right now, our battle plan for Mixer has been laid out. Will they take it, and will they actually execute it?
Of course not.
We'll see.
Okay, Jake. It's been a week since the announcement when we're recording this podcast of Overwatch 2. And the whole office at this point, I'm pretty sure, knows that I hate Overwatch 2 as a concept. I think it was a really dumb decision.
You are a pessimistic man, Xan.
Well, there's no reason to be optimistic about Overwatch 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, for those of you who haven't been paying so much attention, here's what Overwatch 2 is. It's base PvP, same as Overwatch 1, same thing going on, maybe like a little bit of character rebalancing or whatever. The main additions are a story mode, co-op hero missions, and theoretically those are going to be more or less like the PvE events that we already have in Overwatch 1. And they're also adding like a skill tree only in PvE. And aside from that, they're adding a bunch of stuff that's coming to Overwatch 1 as well as 2. That being a new game mode called Push, which is essentially just tug of war. And they have 4 new maps. And their rumors are that they're going to have around 4 new heroes, a new engine, like game development engine. So, new lighting, new UI, all that jazz.
Making it sound pretty cool, Xan.
And all skins, cosmetics, and progress comes over. It would be
very
cool.
Important point there.
Yeah. Thank God they're doing
Imagine.
That. Yeah, imagine if they didn't. I would be burning stuff.
They'd have to be real dumb. Someone's going to do it eventually.
No, I know. I guarantee you that was on the table at one point in time.
And then they were like, well, this whole Hong Kong thing, we probably should let them keep their skins.
Yeah. See, and that's the Hong Kong thing is what really kind of colors this whole situation.
Oh, well, let's not even get into that.
No, I think it's really important to touch on it very briefly because I think it's important to note that if I told you 3 years ago when Overwatch was like really in its prime, if I told you that Overwatch 2 would be announced and the general reaction from the video game community would be like a resounding, yeah, all right, as opposed to like hype and excitement, everybody.
Okay, let me defend it a little bit from what I saw. It was actually kind of hard to find negative comments that had a lot of traction to them. I would say that a lot of the reaction I saw was positive, but it was more so of like a saving positive. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, it was people that were kind of like feeling like they were saved by this, as it was needed, not more so as if it was like, oh crap, this is like going to be great. It was more so like the game needed this, like this is like hanging on, like,
right, like
if that makes sense.
No, it absolutely does.
And there's a ton of people that apparently love stories.
Yeah, well, it's the stories. It makes sense. Obviously, everybody's been asking for that for Overwatch since day one. Since everybody loves the characters.
That only keeps you so far, guys. I get that you like it.
Speaking, yeah.
Is it out now, the official price of it all?
None of that's out. The only details that we really have are that eventually Overwatch 2 and Overwatch 1, the PvP is going to be essentially one game. So if you have a copy of Overwatch 1, you're going to be able to play Overwatch 2 PvP with Overwatch 2 players.
That is just so crazy to me.
Yeah, it's weird.
Can there be pro players that don't buy Overwatch 2?
No.
Because of the new characters?
No. Or, I mean, everybody's getting the new characters. Everybody gets the new characters. Everybody gets the new maps.
Okay, I guess great discussion. What is the point of buying Overwatch 2? Be fair. What are the actual additions?
Literally, the only reason to buy Overwatch 2 is the PvE stuff.
Does the new engine, dumb question, does the new engine also...
They are saying the new engine is going to get updated into Overwatch 1. I literally, before we came in here, I've been talking about this with our video guy Pete and our team lead Maj all week. And I was saying like, hey, they're going to say it's Overwatch 2. And they're going to say Overwatch 2 is out. And it's separate from Overwatch 1. But they're just going to reskin Overwatch 1 to essentially be the same thing as Overwatch 2, just taking out the PvE part. And that's essentially what's happening.
Yeah.
And they just don't want to say that this is essentially an expansion. It is an expansion.
I don't think most people would deny that.
Yeah. I think that's fair to say. The amount of content we're getting is about the same as like a standard video game expansion in 2019. And this is why I hate that they're calling Overwatch 2 because it's disingenuous on a number of levels. Anyway, yeah, it's Jeff Kaplan just confirmed that the two game clients are going to combine.
That's just
making it even less of a point to have an actual Overwatch 2. And it really just seems like they want Overwatch 2 so they can have an excuse to say, hey, give us some more money.
God,
like another lump sum up front.
So strange.
Yeah, can you think of another game that's ever done this?
I was just trying to think about if CSGO did this, how would they do it and not receive backlash? Because it's all so similar. Right. You get a few additional things that you they don't change the game.
Right. Yeah.
So why is it a new game and not just an expansion or an update, a giant update?
Right. Yeah. You know what makes this situation even worse? Kaplan confirmed. He said 100%. The reason why the content in Overwatch, the base game right now, has been declining, why we haven't been getting a lot of new events, new stuff going on, is because they've been working on Overwatch 2. And then they present this in Overwatch 2 as borderline nothing.
Yeah.
It's just story stuff. And all the story stuff that I saw was just the same as standard PvE that we already have in Overwatch. And none of that, I would not say any of that is really worth a full expansion.
Imagine if they had all this backlash, right? Lots of people hated Blizzard over the past month or 2 months.
Right.
BlizzCon comes around. There's a few protesters here and there. Free Hong Kong, free Hong Kong. The public backlash was at an all-time high for Blizzard.
Yeah.
And imagine at BlizzCon, they apologized. Empty apology, by the way.
Terrible apology. Not an apology at all.
But they then give Overwatch players and viewers and the community an entirely updated engine and all this content for free as a giant update. Because, I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah,
it's
they kind of are doing that for free.
But you're going to pay for it.
Well, I mean, you have to pay for the PvE stuff. You don't have to pay for anything else. You get the updated engine. You get the new characters. You get the maps.
But you buy Overwatch. But you buy Overwatch 2.
Only for PvE. That's the only thing you have to pay for.
So you can get part of Overwatch 2 without even paying?
Yeah, you are essentially getting Overwatch 2.
I'm so lost.
As
a non-Overwatch guy, I'm so lost.
It's really unnecessarily confusing. It really should not be confusing. It should just be, hey, it's an expansion. You buy the expansion, you get PvE. Done. Nice and clean, right?
Yeah.
Instead of I've seen so many articles clarifying what Overwatch 2 means.
Now I get you. Now I understand. So it's like, let's compare it to like a Destiny.
Yeah, Destiny.
It's like a Destiny DLC.
Right, yeah.
It's still the same Destiny. It's like, it's still Overwatch 1.
Right, essentially.
They just offer you that DLC for PvE.
As far as they're saying, yeah.
And then give you a new engine and everything else. People are like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, I don't know.
You know what makes it even weirder, though, is that they're saying it's going to come out on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And we know for a fact the PS5 is going to be out by next December.
Oh, boy. This is a new discussion.
They also said they don't know when Overwatch 2 is releasing. How can you not know when your game is going to release if it has to come out before next December?
This is a new topic. Topic. We will keep you all posted as we learn more about Overwatch 2.
Which is why you do this to us.
Xan, my last topic is all about esports valuations.
All right, let's hit it.
We saw this past week, or last week, esports valuations came out. And they were drastically high. And that's a different topic. And that's a different topic for a different day, Sam.
Yeah, okay.
We might bring it back up next week on this podcast. One thing I noticed, and I'm very proud of, is the fact that Hector Rodriguez's little protege has now surpassed him in his value of his org. And I just thought it was
well-deserved.
It's just really cool for me in a very short discussion here. It's really cool to see. And I talked about this already in a video that 5 years ago, I think it was actually right around 4.5 years ago, these two guys, just like you and me, were sitting at a table, and they were both a part of Optic Gaming. And 4.5 short years flew by later. At the time at the table, Hector had given Nadeshot partial ownership of the brand.
Right.
Within a year or two, Nadeshot was kind of developing. He had left Optic, obviously, and he was developing his own ideas for a new organization. Within a year or two later, now 100 Thieves is here. Optic Gaming has been sold. Hector made a fat stack, hopefully, and now he's with NRG as their co-CEO. Nadeshot is the owner and founder of 100 Thieves, and guess what? Those two guys who sat at a table next to each other 4.5 years ago and have been friends for what seems like an eternity now. Basically. Now they have two organizations that are back-to-back on the rankings. One valued at $150 million. 100 Thieves right ahead of Hector's NRG now at $160 million. And to me, I don't know.
If you look at it, you can really tell who makes the most money because of their logos. Someone has a good logo, someone has a bad logo.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Xan. Why you got to bring this up?
Logos are valuable, my guy. I'm not going to buy a shirt with a giant, circle that looks like a tech logo from,
a Globo Gym logo?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what? Why'd you bring this up? Yeah, I was bringing up a beautiful moment that for me, it gave me, it made me feel like anything was possible, that these guys had built all that and done all these changes in 4 years. It makes me think, wow, there's so many possibilities here.
Yeah, Nadeshot's killing it. Honestly. Really smart guy, probably one of the smartest orgs in esports at the moment. That's why they have a good logo. That's why the Huntsman logo is trash.
God dang it, dude. Jesus, I swear, I try and bring happy moments into this cast, and you're just like, wow. And there literally was a comment earlier today about some guy was like, if we keep our standards as high as the 100 Thieves logo, why would we drop them for any other logo?
Right?
And I was like, I mean, you're not.
Exactly.
They're doing killer things.
It's not hard. It's not hard.
You know what? I will end this right here. It's a beautiful moment to see Nadeshot and Hex be two great friends in this esports scene
absolutely.
That is ever growing.
I'm glad they're both very successful, hopefully.
Yes.
I don't know about Hex. I don't know how he's doing. I hope he's successful.
And who knows where you and me will be in 4.5 years.
Yeah.
But you're definitely the Nadeshot with the better logo, and I'm definitely the Hex with the we'll see where this goes in 4.5 years. Gosh.
That Huntsman logo actually really bothered me.
Yeah, after I made the video, I was like, what? I stand for what I said. It was average.
But it's average in the way that I would expect to see that from some random dude on Twitter whose name is Esports Logo Maker 52.
Some of the variances are the one that were just it's just two axes. I was like, oh god. But there are different variances.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, for my last topic, Jake.
Where?
Gonna do something a little different. Gonna let you choose.
Oh gosh, what did I just walk into?
No, it's a good thing. Promise.
Okay.
Yeah, you get to choose which path we take this down. Do you want
this is like a fun event.
Yeah, it's a choose your own adventure.
All right.
Yeah. Do you want a fun, happy story that we can laugh about, or do you want some maybe potentially interesting data to talk about?
You already know, Sean. I'm going to go fun, happy.
Okay,
we can keep data for some other time. We've had enough data in this episode. Yeah. A lot of numbers.
Fair enough. Which is why I felt like I'd give you the option.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah. So let's talk about Fallout 76 then.
Jesus.
And the literal class war that's happening.
Is this actually going to be happy and funny?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, you're not going to be... All right.
I promise. I already promised, yeah. Pick you up and everything, yeah.
Because when you've talked about Fallout in the past, it's never really been a typically happy topic.
Have we even talked about Fallout on the podcast?
Am I thinking about a different game? Is this
very possibly? There have been so many like trash games.
I'm just used to being kind of negative around some games, all right?
Well, so I will be negative about the game. The game is bad. What's happening in the game is hilarious.
See?
And very funny.
All right, what's happening?
Funny, happy times. So, have you heard about Fallout First at all?
No.
Okay,
I'll be honest. No.
Yeah, you're not missing much. So just a couple weeks back, a new membership program was added to Fallout 76.
Okay.
So basically, you pay $12 a month, or I think it's $100 a year. Yeah, it's a lot of money. Yeah, right. That was my reaction too. Yeah, I was like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
For Fallout 76 of all things.
Yeah.
You already had to pay for that game, by the way. That's not a free-to-play game.
It's a pay-to-play game?
That's a pay-to-play game.
Holy nuts.
Yeah, right.
So, nuts.
Yeah. So, and basically that expansion is like a premium service, and with that you get access to private servers, you get unlimited storage, you get like a fast travel point or whatever, and you get a special identifier next to your name that says you bought it, and like an emblem, essentially, right? And some fancy clothes. Now, what's happening is because the gaming community has obviously decided they don't like Fallout 76.
Mm-hmm.
So, out of the people who are still playing the game, people who did not buy Fallout First are now going out of their way to hunt down people who bought Fallout First and kill them or harass them in other ways.
And they can tell by...
Yeah, because next to their names it says Fallout First. Or it says like First or whatever. Or they have really fancy clothes you can only get through Fallout First. So they're very noticeable.
So you have...
Right?
Oh, man.
What makes this even more interesting is the private servers thing straight up does not work. So... even if the Fallout First people try to hide, even if they try to put up their walls, they're like, other people can just be like, hey, yeah. So
they're being hunted down for paying more money for the game?
Yeah.
You really do hate to see it.
It is.
And is there supposed to be some premium feature where you get your own private server?
Yeah. That's supposed to be a thing. It just doesn't work. Also, the free inventory space, the unlimited inventory space, that also doesn't work.
Yeah, it's just karma, huh?
If you put anything in that free inventory, there's a good to fair chance that it's just going to be deleted.
I'd like to say I feel bad, but how many people are actually paying $100 a year for it? Is it enough people, obviously, to have it be an issue?
Yeah. It's enough people for it to be noticeable that they're being hunted.
I just love thinking that a group of guys gets together after work or after school and like, yo, we ready to hunt tonight? Let's go after some rich
Going
kids.
On the prowl. Right.
Literally like just waiting in the server or in the game, just waiting to see a nice piece of clothing walk by and just get him. Just like that's what it. Oh my god, that's what games have become nowadays.
It literally has become like an aristocracy versus the poor people situation.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's kind of hilarious because it's just like the unwashed masses.
Yeah.
Just bombarding like. There's so many posts on Reddit that are like,
I can imagine.
We need to keep this filth.
We need to stand together.
We need to build gated communities for us Fallout First members.
Oh, the rich people are. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you imagine they add like just brand new items only for rich people that actually can defend themselves and oh man, this could get good. Yeah, if they're watching, they gotta actually just come on, add to the add to the memes out there. That's what I'd be doing.
I don't know that they even could. I mean, can you imagine putting out a subscription feature for $100 a year that just straight up does not work?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I mean, I can now, and it's not working out too well. And that's going to do it for the Esports Rewind podcast. As per usual, me and Xan hope you guys did enjoy. Any closing statements there, boy?
Yeah, real quick. Once again, want to thank you all for the amazing amount of support we got on our first merch line release.
Yeah, thank you.
That's under all of our videos now if you want to give it a look. Thank you guys for those of you who picked up a shirt. Hey, send us a picture once you get it. We'd love to see what it looks like on you guys, Hit us up on Twitter with that. Aside from that, though, as always, if you want to listen to the podcast on the go, you can find us on the Prediction Esports Talk Show Network. It's right here, spelling right there, Preediction. And thank you.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'd mess that up for sure.
Yeah, and thanks to all the people who have already been downloading the podcast over there.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, we have a couple sponsors over there actually. So
we appreciate
part of how you can support the show. Hey, if you want to just go and download it every now and again, say hey, we appreciate it. Anyway, things are going great over on the channel. A lot of big things planned. We just had a really big planning meeting about some videos yesterday.
Some great content coming soon, both on the website, guys, and the YouTube channel.
Right.
That's going to do it. Same time every single week. We'll be back here next week, guys, with episode number 27 of the Esports Rewind podcast. As per usual, we hope you guys all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. And until next time, we'll see you guys soon.